Hey girlies, this is Sarah here today with my very first solo video. Today, much like Rainier did last week, we are going to go over a true crime case. So this case I have really enjoyed learning about and like researching and stuff, because I just think it's like so, I don't even know how to describe it. Like it's just like it interests me, like it fascinates me, and it's just, as someone who's always been interested in like psychology and like learning about like the human mind and stuff like that, it's just always so like it just blows my mind, like the things that people will do, the things that people will just the way that people think, like it always just amazes me. So today we are going to go over the Gypsy Rose Blanchard case. Some of you may have heard about it. It got pretty popular because it got a series on Hulu. I think now it's been about 2 years since it came on Hulu. About that much. I might have to fact check that. But yeah, so I watched the series. I did a lot of research on the case. Hair's not working. I don't think I'm working. I keep showing this little thing. It's for my ring light. But yeah. So in 1991, Gypsy Rose Blanchard was born to Claudina Blanchard. Her father, Rod, was somewhat in the picture, but Claudina ended up leaving him, and especially after they moved, they didn't really have a whole lot of contact. Around 8 years old, Gypsy started developing a lot of diseases and conditions such as leukemia and muscular dystrophy. She ended up needing a wheelchair, and she also needed a feeding tube, and she had to undergo a lot of surgeries. She also had an allergy to sugar, amongst many other things, and so Claudina really had to keep like a tight schedule, like really watch her, make sure she wasn't getting into anything that could possibly harm her, except none of that was true. Gypsy Rose, it turns out, did not have leukemia. She did not have muscular dystrophy. She had no need for her wheelchair. She could get up and walk whenever she wanted to. She did not have like any need for like a feeding tube or anything like that. Like she was pretty much totally fine, except for any damage that was later caused to her from her mother doing all of these things to her. It is believed that Claudina had a syndrome, I suppose. It's called Munchausen syndrome by PROXY, and basically that means that she really wanted attention. She really wanted to be seen as like this caring and loving mother, and she just, you know, that's the main part that just interests me so much about this case, is just the psychological part of it. It really just amazes me, honestly, that the way that the people think, the way that the things that people do, because they think that, you know, this child that I'm supposed to love and take care of, I'm going to say that she has cancer. I'm going to say that, you know, she has this and that, and, you know, just so people will pay attention to me. I want to be seen as this caring, loving mother. And none of the doctors ever really questioned it, and whenever a doctor did question it, like, you know, they would say, I don't think Gypsy really needs a wheelchair. I don't think Gypsy actually has, like, an allergy to sugar. I don't think she actually has this. Claudina would just move doctors for her. Dee Dee put Gypsy Rose through a lot. I do not doubt that Dee Dee loved her daughter and cared for her. I do believe that she did love her. I do believe that, you know, she didn't actually mean her any harm. The thing with a lot of people in, like, these psychological situations is that sometimes they see nothing wrong with what they're doing, which there's definitely a lot of wrongdoing in this situation. Gypsy Rose did not have a normal childhood. She was, I wouldn't say sheltered, but she was, you know, she pretty much only had her mom around a lot. Her mother did not allow her to have a lot of friends because of her ailments, and she just didn't get to have like that normal childhood or like sort of teenager sort of experience. So she kind of cheated her out of all of that. And oops, sorry, I made that thing shake a little bit. Be still. But Dee Dee did put Gypsy through a lot. She ended up having to go through multiple surgeries. You know, she was stuck in the wheelchair. Dee Dee had said that she had like visual impairments and hearing impairments, which none of that was really true either. She had her salivary glands removed because she said that she was just drooling all the time. And, but like, again, none of it was true. She just kind of put her through a bunch of surgeries and stuff. And because she didn't have her salivary glands, and then plus, Gypsy sort of discovered herself that she was not allergic to sugar. And if you watch the series on Hulu, you'll see where, it portrays Gypsy as her and her mother sleeping in the same bed, but Gypsy would just get up, not needing a wheelchair every night, and she would go and get up and sneak like soda, candy, cake, and all this other kind of stuff. The series I'm talking about on Hulu is called The Act. I watched it. I really enjoyed it. I think everyone should watch it. And even if some of the details may be exaggerated or not 100% there, that's what I've heard about the show. I still believe it's really good. I still think it gives you like a visual of how Gypsy, okay, bug. It gives you a visual as to how Gypsy was treated. And because it's easy to think that, you know, oh, this is so messed up. You know, Gypsy went through. Sorry, I had to take a coffee break. Because of all that, her teeth rotted and she had to get all of her teeth surgically removed as well. And Gypsy, a lot of people thought that Gypsy was bald because of the chemo from her having leukemia, but in reality, Dee Dee just shaved her head. Whenever her hair started to grow, she would just shave it back down. So because of Gypsy's ailments, what everybody saw and what they perceived to be like a poor mother who didn't really have anything, who didn't have a lot, who was taking care of this girl, her daughter, her young daughter. Dee Dee also lied about Gypsy's age quite often. She got a lot of donations from charities, and she got a lot of help from like neighbors and other people. So when Hurricane Katrina hit Louisiana, she got up and moved to Michigan, and Habitat for Humanity helped them get a house. They built them a little house that was specially designed to help Gypsy get in and out and move around because of her wheelchair and all. So Dee Dee got quite a lot from Gypsy. So I don't want this video to be like forever long, because if I gave you guys every little detail about this case, this would be like a 2-part, like 30 minutes each video, and I want to try and keep this at about 10 to 15 minutes. So also what came with the lying about Gypsy's age was that Dee Dee altered her birth certificates a lot. She lied to Gypsy about her age, and this is another thing that they go over in The Act on Hulu. I feel like I'm jumping all over. So Gypsy pretty much just kind of lived her life with her mother. There was one attempt where she met a man at a convention, and Gypsy and Dee Dee frequented a lot of like concerts. They went to Disney. They went to like conventions and stuff. So Gypsy meets a man at one of the conventions that her and her mother go to, and she tries to like run away to be with him. She tells him like, oh, my mother's like abusive. I want to get away with her. I want to come be with you, such and such, yada yada. But then Dee Dee tracks her down. And even though Gypsy is of age at this point, she lies to the man and says, hey, she's a minor. Like, I'll call the cops. Give me my daughter right now. Such and such. So yeah, that kind of squashed that. And after that, Dee Dee really restricted Gypsy from going anywhere, and just really restricted like her cell phone and internet access and all of that. And a few years later, Gypsy meets Nicholas GODEJOHN. And they met on a Christian dating site. Gypsy and Nick, they talked for a little while, and eventually they start a online BDSM relationship. Now I'm going to try and keep this as family friendly as possible. They talked about a lot. They engaged in a lot of sexual things. So, and then, you know, they were dating. Just your typical relationship. Until it kind of goes south when Gypsy asks Nick to kill her mother. So Nicholas lived in Wisconsin, and, you know, Gypsy living in Michigan, she finds a way to get Nicholas to her house in order for him to kill her mother. They come up with a whole plan, like, you know, oh, you're gonna go in there, you're gonna kill my mom, and then we're gonna run away and go back to your house, we're gonna live happily ever after. That's kind of how it was just all planned. So, you know, after talking for a few years, Gypsy got up that courage to ask him to do that. Of course, his phone has to go off now. Sorry about that. So yeah, Gypsy and Nick, they come up with the whole plan. They're there. Nicholas ends up stabbing Dee Dee to death while Gypsy sits in the bathroom and covers her ears, tries not to listen to her mother calling out for her, begging her for help. And so when they're done with the deed, Gypsy and Nick just go. They're going off with their plan. They're going to go back to Nick's house, which is in Wisconsin. My personal belief is that Gypsy did what she thought she had to do in order to get out of her situation. She was in a bad situation, and she just found a way out of it. I personally don't believe that Gypsy should have received any jail time, just because of the abuse that she endured. And then I personally even believe that Nicholas GODEJOHN got a much higher sentence than he even really deserved. Not only because, he may have committed a crime, he may have committed a murder, but I honestly don't believe he should have gotten that much jail time, because I feel like he was saving Gypsy in a way. And even if she didn't quite want a lot of contact with him after they were convicted, but I still believe that he did save her. And he was just trying to help. He's autistic. I believe he may not have fully comprehended exactly what was going on and what he was doing. So you might be wondering, why did Nick agree to do this? You know, why was he just so in there and so okay with helping Gypsy kill her mother? So Nicholas GODEJOHN has autism. He is autistic. So that, I believe, played a big factor in why, not like autistic people are not murderers. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm just saying that that's partially why he was so easily convinced, is that maybe he didn't realize that he was doing such a bad crime. He didn't realize he was doing that. The way he probably saw it was that he was helping the love of his life. He loved Gypsy. He loved Gypsy. He wanted to help her. He believed that she was being abused. So he believed that, you know, he was saving her. And you may also wonder, well, why couldn't Gypsy just leave? She could walk. Her legs worked. She wasn't actually sick. Why couldn't she just leave and tell the cops what was going on? And while that may be true, it's a part of being abused that, you know, Gypsy still did love her mother despite what happened. She did love her. That's just part of, like, the abused sort of psyche, that you don't believe that you can just get up and leave. Like, you believe you have to find some kind of other motive. Like, you know, Dee Dee always made Gypsy believe, like, oh, you need me to take care of you, you're sick, you need me. So I think that's why she felt like she couldn't just up and leave. She couldn't just call the cops. It's really, when it comes to any situation involving abuse, that's really just the whole case, is that the abuser makes the person they're abusing believe that they need them, they won't be able to survive without them. So Gypsy was just really confused, I would say. I think she felt like lost, like she was under a lot of pressure because she she couldn't think of another way to get out. It's really a difficult situation, and you have to look at it from not only your point of view, but their point of view. You have to look at your own morals, like look at the situations that the both of them were in, because Gypsy was abused. She was looking for a way out. Nicholas GODEJOHN was just trying to find a way to help the woman that he loved get out of her situation so that they could be together. And that was the only way that they could come up with. So Nicholas and Gypsy did not get caught right away. They made it all the way back to Wisconsin to Nick's house. They were living fine. A couple days had passed since the whole plan went through. And Gypsy begins feeling guilt. She begins kind of regretting what happened. She's worried that... Let me fix this camera. She's sort of worried that nobody's going to find her mother. And I feel like they would have, like, found out anyway because, you know, they were fairly active and social in their community. You know, again, they went a lot of places. So I feel like someone would have noticed eventually and figured it out. So what Gypsy and Nick do, because she has expressed this concern to him, they go onto a Facebook page that Gypsy shared with Dee Dee. And I'm not gonna really describe what was said because they're a little graphic and not quite so family friendly. But the one that I will say that they posted is, they said that B word is dead. And the other one they posted, fairly graphic, I'm not gonna say it, but their Facebook page is actually still up, and you can actually still go and find those Facebook statuses that Gypsy posted. And they're doing so in this was to gather the attention of like their neighbors and people that knew them, that knew their situation, that were close by. It was pretty much just to like alert them to the fact that, hey, something's kind of wrong here. So it was through that they went into, you know, Dee Dee's house, Dee Dee and Gypsy's house, and they found her. And it wasn't much longer after that. I believe it was hardly even a couple days before Gypsy and Nick were found. They were tried and they were sentenced to prison. Gypsy was sentenced to 10 years in prison for second-degree murder, while Nicholas GODEJOHN got life in prison for first-degree murder. Now, again, I personally don't believe that Gypsy should have gotten any time. I feel like Nicholas did not deserve a life sentence per se, and maybe not even charged with first-degree murder. But Nick, he probably should have gotten some time just because he did do it, but because of the reasons and the situation and the fact that he is autistic, I believe that his sentence should have been just a little bit lighter. I do believe that Nick did not fully comprehend what he was doing, or I think he understood why he did it, but he didn't necessarily understand what he did in the extremes of it. So, Gypsy, again, I don't believe she should have gotten any time at all in prison. I believe Gypsy is actually getting out in just a few years. As far as I know, the last I've heard is that she does have a boyfriend or fiance that she plans on marrying and having children with as soon as she gets out. And Nicholas GODEJOHN says that he does not have any ill feeling towards Gypsy. He still loves her and he still feels like that he saved her. Okay, so thank you guys so much for tuning in and watching my first solo video. A little awkward, a little jumpy. I know that, yeah. But make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Also ring the bell so you know when we upload. And we will see you guys together again. Me and Rainier together again for... We're not sure what we're doing yet, so we'll let you guys know. Okay. Bye, girlies.